Congressman says end the war in Afghanistan. All right. On the 17th anniversary of the beginning of the war in Afghanistan, one American congressman has called for its end. That's the problem. There's only one. Representative Ruben Gallego of Arizona said in a statement on Sunday that American troops would come home from Afghanistan since our current course there is not in our national interest. Yeah, it's also brutal imperialism. The U.S. presence in Afghanistan began on October 7, 2001, shortly after the September 11th terrorist attack. And then we invaded Iraq for no reason. Our objectives following that attack were to destroy al-Qaeda, kill Osama bin Laden, this is from the article, and prevent a recurrence of ungoverned space in Afghanistan that allowed for terrorists to plot and plan attacks. We accomplished all those objectives years ago. Although Gallego, a Marine veteran of the Iraq War, seemed to push for a full withdrawal of American troops, he cautioned that we must do so responsibly. A responsible exit, he wrote, would mean continuing to provide security assistance and diplomatic engagement to the Afghan government and aggressively push for a peace deal, all of which seems to undercut the American troops should come home part. Sure does, since the U.S. is currently doing all those things, and yet the war continues unabated. But his statement does note there's 14,000 coalition troops in Afghanistan who have no reason to stay there indefinitely. Yeah, but this whole, whenever you go down, and I hope this person, I'm not familiar with this politician, admittedly, I'm not familiar with all their stances. It is cool that at the very least they said it's time to end this. That's more than everybody else in Congress. It's sad that that's where the bar is, but that's the truth. But yeah, whenever they talk about de-escalation and we need to do so responsibly, that just means they're going to continue more of the same indefinitely. That's always what that's code for. Maybe instead of 14,000 troops, it'll be 11,000 next year. But they're still going to continue to indefinitely do the same shit. 17 years. 17 years and counting. We have military exploitation all over the world, and what does it do? It pads the pockets of oil moguls. That's all it does. So, I mean, it seems like there's a lot of kind of there's kind of some of the more some of the more tired rhetoric that's code for we're going to continue doing more of the same. And hopefully this is a little more than just a rhetorical gimmick to make you think that there's an actual anti-war movement in our elected politics. There's not. There's just not. Are there some individuals that are anti-war? Sure. Yeah, there's some good people in the Senate and in Congress. They're very few and far between. We could probably name them all within a couple moments. But there are some genuinely anti-war people. Some are anti-war people, but I don't agree with on a lot of other things. Like Rand Paul. I agree with his stance on anti-war, but we disagree on almost everything else. But there are some anti-war members out there. But they are very much a minority in elected officials. Military budgets pass, and we don't even hear about it. It's not even really discussed. And it votes with, it passes with an overwhelming majority 100% of the time. There's just a few dissenting voices. So we don't have an anti-war movement in elected officials. We have an anti-war movement amidst the people. So, and that's what happens when you have two pro-war parties to choose from. So, thank you for sharing that. And hopefully there will be more people saying it's time to end the war in Afghanistan. And hopefully they'll actually have a very concrete way of doing it instead of this whole quote-unquote responsible de-escalation, which usually is code for we're going to keep doing the same shit.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your